when did I recognize I had a problem? The first time I recognized that I had a problem was my first marriage. My ex had put up a bar in our townhome as a gift. And she didn't know how much I drank, and her doing that was the worst thing that could have happened because I was already an alcoholic by then. And although it was supposed to be something nice to have friends over, mix up some drinks, it was stocked with all the typical bottles, the tequila, gin, whiskey, Bacardi, wine, mixers, all the tools and everything. It was a nice little setup, but I mean, that's horrible for an alcoholic because, well, it's the best thing that can happen to an alcoholic and the worst thing. And it gives you an excuse to drink all the time, right? I'm just getting home from work, doing my thing. Yeah, it's the weekend. Don't worry, it's Memorial Day. Like, okay, so you've got all these reasons to drink, and now you have a bar in your house. And the first time I realized that it was a problem was very early on. The first night I drank from the bar, I wasn't even drunk yet, and I had just looked up at the bottle and noticed that half of it was gone. And that was the first time in my life where all of the alcohol that I had consumed came from one container that you could visibly see. Me and her, right? And she hadn't noticed yet. I don't even think that she would have thought to notice or even look. And so I freaked out because I still had plans to drink more. Like, I wasn't to the drunk that I wanted to get yet. And like half the bottle's gone. So like, what am I going to do? Because if I keep drinking it, she's probably going to notice if it's empty or almost empty. So in a haste, I decided to just pour all of the Bacardi into a big cup and put it underneath the cabinet in the back and fill the bottle of Bacardi up with water to a point where like a normal person would drink, right? Like maybe a couple of shots down. And put it back up there because she didn't drink Bacardi, so her going for that bottle in the next 24 hours is unlikely, and I can just replace it. When I leave work tomorrow, I can grab one and just replace it, which is what I did, right? But now that I have the problem of noticeable volume gone, I have basically a free cup of Bacardi underneath the sink to drink up of. And no one's going to notice because, as far as she's concerned, I'm not going to touch that bottle again. I might grab it and act like I'm pouring a drink, but that level is not going to go down anymore. So there's no fear. I have a license to drink now, and I've got a half a bottle in a cup underneath the cabinet to do it. And so, I got like really drunk. And then I repeated that cycle for years, the whole time we were married, whenever I was home, and then you kind of refine your tactics. It's like alcoholic tradecraft, we're like Jason Bourne little CIA agents with how we can cover things up. And, it's not always perfect. We get caught or we have a close call and then we just adjust, right? So my first adjustment was noticing that too much of the bottle was missing. I caught it early. I filled it up with water, had this little system, right? So now I knew what to do if I drank too much of the bottle. And, but then I'm doing this a lot now. It's like every day, right? Like I'm drinking too much Bacardi, filling the bottle up with water, putting the cup under the sink, and then drinking the cup. And I'm just in this repetitive cycle. And so I decided I would buy handles. And to disguise it, I bought handles of all of the bottles, right? And I was like, rather than just waste money on new bottles, we can save money by having handles. We'll just fill them up with a funnel. But the only bottle I was concerned with filling up was the Bacardi bottle. I didn't care about the other bottles. It was just there to disguise what I was actually doing, which was putting smoke and mirrors around the amount of Bacardi that I was consuming. And it got to the point where I was just drinking from the handle underneath the bar and leaving the bottle of Bacardi on the shelf, as a showpiece, but also as a last resort, like hurricane party thing too. So, it was always there as a safety net, but I would just drink from the bars underneath, the bottles that were underneath the bar. And, that's the first time I noticed I had a problem. And I didn't do anything about it. You know, I didn't go to my first AA meeting until 2011 when I was in Bahrain. I had just picked up chief. I was a frock chief. I got sent out to Bahrain, and I was living in a hotel for 45 days, which is normal. You stay in a hotel, and then you find a house, an apartment, a flat, or something to live in, and then you move. So I was in this hotel, and every night I would just go back to the hotel with a 6-pack of beer and a bottle of vodka. I had switched to vodka by then, and drink by myself and pass out and wake up and go to work. And it was all fine and dandy until one day I woke up in the morning naked, which wasn't like when I would drink, I would sleep naked. So that's not what was odd. It was that I couldn't find that bottle in the room. And to my recollection, I never left that room. From what I can remember, I came into the room, I put the do not disturb sign on, I locked the door, the latch, everything that there was there to lock it, and I got drunk and passed out. And so I don't remember ever leaving the room. So the bottle should be in here somewhere. And it wasn't. And I looked everywhere for it. I tore that room apart. And so my mind, that was some of the biggest fear I've ever felt in my life, because I'm like, how'd the bottle get out of the room? And was I walking around the hotel in the middle of the night naked with a vodka bottle? That was my concern with waking up naked. It's that I possibly was walking around the hotel, and I have no recollection of it, because that is the only explanation for how this bottle left the room, is that I left the room last night at some point, probably to throw the bottle away, because I would even hide the trash of my alcohol when I was by myself, when I had no risk of getting caught, right? Just, I don't know, we're always preparing for the worst. So maybe I finished off the bottle, felt the shame and guilt for the fact that I just drank a whole bottle of vodka in one night, and just wanted it out of my sight and took it and threw it away in the hall or something. But I have no reflection of that. And all I could think about was, the security cameras probably have me on tape walking down the hall at 2 a.m., butt naked with a bottle of vodka in my hand. And I was scared for over a month. I was terrified that anytime somebody said my name or Master Chief this, that I was going to get called into the CMC or the CO's office and shown a video of me naked in a hotel with a bottle of vodka, and I thought my career would be over. It scared me so much that that's when I actually went to my very first AA meeting, was in Bahrain, because I was absolutely terrified of what was going to happen, and I had no idea if or when it would come. And so I lived in fear. And I never got called into the office. It never was an issue, and I never found the bottle. So I have no idea what happened that night, but man, that was a scared straight moment that got me to AA the first time, which was good, because now I had discovered the community and the power of AA, and I would continue to go back there like a revolving door for the next 11 years until I finally was able to get some time sober. So that's how I recognized I first had a problem. I wonder what thoughts and memories that brought up in your drinking past, if it did.